take it all in. But I think some projects that happen right up here in Warren County in urban agriculture and small scale agriculture are featured here as well. So really wonderful report, and thanks to all at the state committee staff for putting this together. Special thanks to Abigail Edwards for your commitment to working on this. Thank you. Ag non-point source. Bethany.
Thanks, Dale. Hi, everybody. I'm Bethany Pistu. I'm the Ag Non-Point Source Program Manager. Apologies for missing introductions this morning. We have one amendment for consideration today. That time extension amendment was submitted by Franklin County for a round 25 project. They are looking to extend the end date out to December 1st of 2024. The reason for the request is cited in the agenda, and was also included in the amendment request packet that was forwarded to all of the voting members prior to this meeting. This time extension is supported by Ryan Cunningham, Region 4 AEA. We do refer to the state committee for approval. Ryan, do you want to add any other details in there?
No, I think that pretty much covered it. No, further up north, there's a lot of large scale CAPO construction not related to grants going on. Very limited contractor, material supply, things like that. So they did ask for 2 construction season extension.
Yeah, I see there. It's an early application. Just smart finding the other. It might be a big delay. Anyone, any discussion, comments? Anyone? Motion to approve?
So move.
Second? Second. Go to voting. Darren?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Yeah. Aye. Approve. Thank you.
So I'll just give a real quick update on where we are with round 28. So back in July, the state committee approved the ranked list for the 28th round of Ag Non-Point Source. Those awards are still pending. We're trying to clear out the round 27 contract process before moving forward with round 28, but hopefully those will be coming soon. Any other questions from you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have one new guest that stepped in. Jackie, want to let us know who we are?
Hi, I'm Jackie Zeb, I'm the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Agriculture and Markets. I apologize for being a little late. I'm driving around the parking lot, and I hope a permit isn't necessary because I would be ticketed if I am. But I appreciate being here today and listening to your discussion this morning and participating in the tour this afternoon. I'm so happy that those events are back on track and you're able to do this again, because I've been on once now. It seems like a couple of years since I've been on one. COVID and everything else, but they're always insightful. So thanks, Dale.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it greatly. Next, we'll go on to the voting staff advisory. You want to start, Brian?
Sure. Not everybody needs to stand up here, but I'll just stand up really quickly just to announce that last week we heard from Secretary Tom Vilsack that New York State was a recipient of the Climate Smart Commodities grant program. In the first round, which had a funding floor of 1 million to a ceiling of 100 million, there were 450 applications received. New York State was one of 70 applications funded. There was over $20 billion in requests for a $1 billion total offering. Secretary Vilsack had noted that that was just phenomenal level of demand and need for this program. The USDA was able to supplement that $1 billion with a little bit more, to a total of $2.8 billion in awards. And this is a proposal that the New York State DEC is sponsored, as it has both agriculture and forestry climate smart practices included. And we'll be partnering with DEC for a sub-allocation for funds through that in order for us to really augment and supplement our climate resilient farming, our AIM program, and work through conservation districts in partnership with Cornell University, ESF, as well as Syracuse University. We're very grateful. Many thanks to USDA for putting that opportunity out there and seeing fit to fund our proposals. So I believe there will also be additional press release and announcements on that this week, as it is Climate Week. So it was just wonderful news. I just wanted to make that announcement there.
Great news. Darren, you have anything to report?
No, not right at the moment.
Dave?
Nope, that was good.
Greg?
Thank you, Dale.
You, Scott? Anything?
NYCD annual meeting is coming up October 18th to the 22nd. Registration's ongoing right now. Deadline, I think, is 25th of September. The registration is fast.
Excellent. Thank you. PJ?
Business as usual in Region 2, a lot of grant closeouts coming up, a lot of board meetings, board trainings before we get to the end of the year, and just keeping an eye on performance measures. And so far, it looks like we shouldn't have any trouble meeting or exceeding the measures in Region 2 from what I've seen.
Anything to report?
Just a reminder that Conservation Skills Workshop is next week in Cortland. Registration's already closed, so we can't join, but see lots of you there.
Abigail?
I have nothing to report.
Tyler, I'll just introduce myself real quick. New to the department, I suppose, in the committee. Was in Cuyahoga County, so I'm Tyler Knapp, senior environmental analyst. We'll be doing data management, program analysis stuff for all the programs, actually. So happy to be here.
Welcome to your first state committee meeting, and we rolled out an in-person meeting for you.
Perfect. What a way to come.
Thank you. Any report?
No, that's that we do have a CDA meeting next month, so we're catching up on the symposium, skills first of the month. Towards the end of the year. Great.
Yeah, just a quick dovetail off of what Tim and Jason mentioned. Greg, Ron, and myself are part of 43 class for Con Skills, so excited to see how that turns out.
Good. Anything?
I'm up.
John?
From the state aid front, I'll just say that the 2023 Part B request is currently out due November 1st. So make sure you get those in on time. I've only got a couple in so far, but you got a couple months to go. But districts, just make sure you're having a conversation with your board. Other than that, like BJ said, it's kind of business as usual and that's about it.
Thank you. Nothing?
Nothing further from me.
Anything? You have anything to report?
Anything that's going on that you want everybody to know about? So all we're about, so what this is really about.
Welcome to the town of Queensbury. We work very close with Warren County Soil, Water, and Trail Development in which we're one of the area in terms of trail and stream protections and stormwater protections. And everything else, we work very closely with Warren County Soil, Water, and very much appreciate the service that they offer in protecting our environment. Okay.
Blake?
From a federal standpoint, we've got a couple more weeks left before the end of our fiscal year. We're almost done obligating all of our equipment CSV contracts. But FY23 has in store for us come October.
We're gonna be busy.
We're really busy. With the new farm bill coming up and the Inflation Reduction Act.
A lot of changes.
Blake, if I can just take one more minute, I don't know, did I mention the award amount for the climate smart?
No, you didn't.
All right, that was, I know, that's what I did. Like, $60 million. See, it's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. So we'll be working, that through with DEC and agriculture and forestry. We'll be able to support both. Our climate resilient farming aid program and DEC will also be able to support their Regenerate New York and 488 forestry programs. Thank you. Any report?
On the soil and waterfront for the North Country, we've seen a lot of technicians around the North Country and district offices, not just backfills, but expansions of staff, which is kind of good to see. A lot of expectations from different programs on the state with the Champlain basin and stuff, a lot of money, and just kind of flow through. So it's good to see some good staff, foresters in the Tugdale region. So all good direction. So it's nice.
Anything else, Jim?
We do not for a technician position. We lost a senior district tech who went to college with Dean, and it was great for him though. He's now the director of Parks and Rec for this county, so it's back where he kind of started from. It's funny because he didn't get the job as director of Up Yonda, but now he manages everything of Up Yonda. So it's just funny how it works out. So we do have that, and October 20th is the North Country Stormwater Trade Show and Conference, which is put on by the Champlain Watershed Coalition of the North. It's a very good trade show and conference. It's in the Great Escape Lodge, so if you want to go to the water park there the night before, come on out and stay there and go down the slide with all the little kids and everything. So
I'm good at that.
yeah. But no, we're just again glad that you folks were able to come up here. I guess the one thing I say is thank the state committee, because over the course of time that I've been here, it's really gone from just solely looking at agriculture as the way for protection of resources to really expanded that over the number of years. And it's great because we always talk about grassroots types of projects and programs that really ties in local communities for that. So whether we're working on trails with John, or doing ag projects through the AIM-based program, tomorrow we're assisting in nonprofit living on the 7 base. So it just allows us to do more with the communities, and we just keep building that and building that and building. It's wonderful to see that, again, 20 plus 25 year change or additions to that. So thank you.
All set? Anything to report?
Thanks.
Okay, Jackie? And back anything? One thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was, as we go into the new Climate Act, we're going to be looking at, well, probably won't affect this county much, but it's a major reforestation program. And we're going to need a lot of input from experts that know trees and how to, I think there's 1.2 million acres of vacant land in our state that's not being farmed. And part of that climate to meet that goal is to get trees growing. And it's going to take a lot of work and figure out how to do it. You can't just throw seedlings out there and expect them to live. So we're going to have a major program coming online in time for that. So a lot of advice, what to do and how to do it.
Dale, I think we have a little bit more time to continue to talk about our climate resilient farming program and projects. Could you also talk a little bit about methane mitigation, manure management, and last week you opened your farm to technical assistance providers, conservation districts, and partners to see some of those projects in action?
We've got the number one large part of the climate resilient farming program was cover and flare. And we had one through NRCS, we put it in 2012. Well, we built a satellite lagoon a couple of years ago, 6,000 feet from the barns, and we covered it with climate resilient farming program money and NRCS money. They just finished it this past Friday. They have not hooked up the flare yet. I do have photos on my phone if anybody wants to see it. I think we have a major education program to do across the state because in my view, it's one of the best things we've ever done. Your smell reduction around the farm is unbelievable. We've had people that have worked for us when they're teenagers and they come back in their 40s and work part-time for us. And they say, how come it doesn't stink here anymore? Well, the lagoon's always covered. And on our main lagoon, just by having the cover on, we have 1.5 million less gallons of manure because no rainfall or snow goes in it. And that is all pumped off into a 1 million gallon storage pond at the farm. We then pump that 6,000 feet underground to a 6.5 million gallon storage pond that also has a 1,500 foot center pivot on it. And because we were so dry this year, the corn irrigated with a center pivot went 34 tons to the acre. The rest of the field that it was not irrigated went 17. So it's 17 tons the acre higher yield, which is about $900 an acre more income. That system pays for itself real fast. We're looking to do another center pivot right away and have 3 more in the plans. I think it's, anybody that has separation, I would highly recommend covers. I mean, if you got farmers in your districts that have a separation in place, even if they don't have separation, we're going to be funding separation, I believe, as part of it, but we want to get as many covered that already got separation in ahead of time. And ours has been built in place 10 years this past spring. And the only buildup in that 10 years, and we haven't stirred, all we've done is pump out for 10 years, is at the entrance point, there's a small little pile of solids. That's it. There is no other solids built up in there. We can pump it right to the bottom empty in 10 years. So, and the original one was a 60 mil plastic guaranteed for 20 years. The new one we put in went to the heaviest we could get was 80 mil. That's guaranteed 30 years. They just did a little minor maintenance on ours, a small crack. I think it's going to last way beyond 20 years. It's a great, great thing to do for public relations and your farm. If we can, when we first were hauling, we were doing tractor trailers. Now we do drag line, an awful lot of manure with drag line. But the tractor trailers was enormous amount of less truck traffic on the road by, I don't know, 1.5 million less gallons a haul. I have it covered. And reusable clean water, and it can go right in a ditch if you haven't got irrigation or anything, because it's clean water pumped off the top.
So we're reducing methane from the storage, and we're also reducing fossil fuels and the amount of loads that have to go out to the fields.
Yeah, definitely. And we're in the research phase now, working with a engineer trying to develop a stainless steel boiler. We plan to capture the gas, pump it into propane tanks, take it up to the milk house, and heat the hot water through the 6 months a year when we have gas. The flare, you'd be surprised how much comes off. The flare is about that big in diameter, 14 feet tall. It's at 1,500 degrees Celsius for 5 months straight, just screaming. There's a lot of gas comes off to the storages. And it doesn't kick in until 1st of July, and it shuts off early November, and then it almost produces nothing because it's temperature driven. When it gets cold, it doesn't. Jim,
How large is your farm?
we're just over 1,000 cows, 2,500 acres, about halfway owned. And I'm second generation. My son, my niece, and nephew now run it. Supposedly retired. But it's
That's why you're able to spend the fall in the North Country, right?
yeah, I can leave when I want to. I spend the winters in Florida, and I work in a growing signal, part of the agreement I have with the farm. And the kids don't want to get any bigger. The farm's very successful, and they got their time off. They don't have to work longer, and they like doing what they're doing. Each of the 3 has their own areas of management. They work very well together. Doesn't hope or pray for it to be any better than it is. So.
The reason why I asked Dale to also mention this is just as a reminder that Climate Leadership Community Protection Act, CLCPA, has very ambitious targets for reduction of emissions in New York State, 40% by 2030, 85% by 2050, where methane is a short-lived but highly potent greenhouse gas emission. Controlling for methane in order to meet these targets is extremely important. Agriculture is only 6% of the total emissions in New York State, which is lower than global and national and on many other jurisdictions, but it's very important to manage for. As Dale mentioned, being able to capture that gas and destroy that methane is extremely important, but also helps this farm to be more resilient. So thank you for your open house, your invitation last week.
We had a few come that were from districts that were going to do a lot of covers, and they could see it. And so they wanted to see what an old one looked like, 10 years old, and a brand new one going in. It's very good.
Excellent.
Anything else? Anyone got anything else to report? Next meeting date, we've got proposed at October 18th.
So trying to stick to the 3rd Tuesday of every month. And I should point out that the executive order that allowed for remote meetings has expired. As you can see today, we're here in person with a kind of a hybrid option according to open meetings law. That's why our voting members who couldn't be here today, their locations are noted on the agenda. However, we do have a new contact at the state fair, food industry, and there's a strong possibility we might be able to go back to the model we had before at an Albany and a Syracuse location. If that's okay with the voting members, we can work on that for October.
Dave, Darren, October 18th? Look okay?
Yeah. Goes to me.
October's
I'm in the
pretty tricky.
hospital and I'll be here.
October's
Derek is long enough, I'll probably be retired and whatever.
Go ahead, Darren.
October's pretty tricky for me. I really have no idea. We're usually pretty busy during October.
Well, if you want to continue to allow the public to your farm and or Otsego County Soil and Water District, something to that effect, maybe we can work with you on that if that.
I'm fine with that. That may or may not make a difference, honestly, but that's really the best I can do.
Have to check with her. Right now, we're gonna go with October 18th. Yeah, we're running right on schedule. So, next program, next part's the CRF program. I have to recuse because I got an application in on it. So, Darren, you're gonna take over for me?
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll close that door and we'll let you know when to come back in. Thank you, Dale.
Okay.
And is there any other districts on the line?
No other districts on the Zoom or
Okay.
WebEx.
All right. And I'm just gonna ask also, any other conservation districts, I know our hosts, and you don't have an application in the CRF, but just according to our ethics opinion, we have to ask all districts to recuse themselves from this discussion as well as we decide on our ranked list. And Jason.
Still not, Chase. That's CDA, so does that count? Still not, Chase.
We'll have one on the wall.
Make sure you let us back in.
We'll work it out. Thank you.
Find some donuts.
You're fine. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Vice Chair, Dale has left the room. All our conservation district partners have also left the room, and Abigail is distributing the new ranked list. And I've asked Abigail to kind of just present why we're here again, as we also discussed this back in July. So I will, as soon as Abigail is ready, turn it over to her.
Okay. So give me one sec. Is this okay, please? Is this all right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right. Hey, everyone. So following the July state committee meeting, when we approved the initial ranked list, we received a question about an unrelated issue from a very astute district, and this caused us to reevaluate our list and all of the rankings. So upon reevaluation, we realized that there was an error with the scoring of 3 projects. These 3 projects involved Cornell, which merited a recusal from the Cornell reviewers. And we had 4 reviewers this round, and by way of our evaluation instrument, by way of our evaluation instrument, there's a recusal. When this happens, we take an average of the remaining scores. So in this case, that's an average of 3 scores. Since we had 4 scores, the remaining 3 are then averaged. And then the average of these 3 scores is inputted for the 4th score. So this creates a complete set of 4 scores. And in the CRF round 6 ranked list that was approved in July, this had not been done for the projects that had a Cornell recusal. This then resulted in these 3 projects receiving 3 scores instead of 4 scores. So essentially, since the Cornell slot had been left as a 0, this resulted in a loss of 30 to 40 points in some cases for these 3 projects. So that's caused significant shifting in our list. When we identified the error, we reevaluated these scores for each project, and this resulted in, like I said, some shifting in the ranking of these 3 projects only,
which is why we're presenting this list for review again today. We also identified a few other minor data input errors in the ranked list, and for these reasons, we're asking you to reapprove the ranked list today.
Thank you, Abigail. That was perfect. Again, we also, communicated this directly to our council and fiscal management offices of the Department of Ag and Markets. Our evaluation is very clear. We hadn't made awards yet, so we caught it before that. So that was a really great thing. And gives us an opportunity to correct this error and come back to you all today. As customary, I will read resolution 2204, and then Darren will ask for a vote. That subject to the availability of funds, the committee shall award funding pursuant to round 6 of the Climate Resilient Farming Grant Program for projects ranked on each of the 3 lists, 1 list per track, until funds available for this purpose are exhausted or the scoring threshold is reached, consistent with the Stormwater District Law, the RFP, and other law applicable to funding of such projects. Consistent with the RFP, the committee authorizes the Department of Agriculture and Markets to negotiate the terms of the contract with the project sponsors and make minor adjustments to the project description and budget as necessary to achieve project goals, conform to applicable laws and regulations, and serve the best interests of the state.
Okay, so I need a motion to accept the resolution as read.
So moved.
Yep. Do you want to ask if there's any discussion or any comments or questions from the group?
Well, I was gonna ask after we got the motion.
Oh, perfect. Sorry about that.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Who's in the office there? As far as voting members?
Scott Ryan. So
Just
it's a-
Scott, right?
So you all have to vote today, yeah.
And Eric is not there, right?
Eric is not here.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure. So, is there any more discussion?
We have nothing to discuss unless there's questions or comments.
Okay. So voting, Dave,
Yes, aye.
Scott,
Aye.
and I vote aye. So the motion passes.
Thank you so much. Great, and there were no amendments today. We put that on there as a placeholder. Next month's meeting, we'll have full program status reports for ag non-point source climate resilient farming. And forward to that. And I think that's all now, right?
Yep, that's it.
Excellent. We are running a little ahead of schedule. Look at that. Thank you so much, Darren.
No problem.
Next, adjourn the meeting too or not?
We have not adjourned the meeting.
Okay. Anything else to discuss or bring up by anyone, anything at all? The regular business meeting is adjourned and I'm turning it over to the Warren County staff and the Adirondack, SUNY Adirondack representatives to begin our.
Thank you. Do you want to end the meeting?
Is there anything else more in this room?
No, we're gonna, we've got a couple minutes, so, facilities, if you want to take a minute, check out what's going on here. The aquarium's on the first floor, right? Yeah, so if we have a few minutes, we can take you down there. They have an aquarium and they have a greenhouse built into the structure where I think they have a banana tree. That's big. Well, I don't think so. King Kong was knocking on the window and, liability and stuff. But they have a lot of interesting things. We don't have access into that, but you can begin there. So it's a small college program which is growing, but there's a lot of niche items here, and that's what we like, and that's why we encourage and we work with them. So we can go check out the salt water, and restrooms are say health waste, come up here and something like that. They'll cover, so if you want, if you get separated, be right back here and.
All right, I'm gonna end the meeting. Thank you all.
We're gonna adjourn the business meeting. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have the best day possible.
Thank you. See you guys.
Take care.
Thank you.
No chats at all.